I think this was by far one of the longest conversations I've ever done. Yeah. Onyeka Onwenu. Actor, singer, journalist, author, mother, national honoree, icon, legend, beauty.
If you love me, you go wait for me. Wait for me, baby, run with me.
She is my favorite musician in the world. And I've said this over and over again. And quite easily, somewhere there with Meryl Streep and Viola Davis when it comes to my favorite actors. Feeling life had passed me by. I knew I was hungry for a love I could not find. All you lonely people, all you sinners lost out there, let me tell you about the greatest love of all. Oh, and what a life she has lived. You know, a few years ago, more than 5 years ago, I said to her, Auntie, whenever you want to do your biography, I want to join you in writing it. And we started the process. Couldn't finish it because she got into government. And when she came out, she found the time to finish this book, My Father's Daughter. I spent an entire day reading it. And I said to her, now, Auntie, we finally have to have that interview. And we talk about everything. You know, her marriage. People have been wanting to know about her marriage for years. Keep us together. It is a hell of a story. You know, did she or did she not date all the men that everybody says she dated, from Obasanjo to Fela to King Sunny Ade to Ibrahim Babangida? You know, who was her husband? How has she managed all the battles she has fought in her life? And what about that badass last chapter where she finally talked about the love of her life? All the exclusives that Onyeka has never spoken about anywhere else on television in a 30 to 40 year career. Today on with Chude.
Come for me.
Right, welcome. I already did my intro before you came in. I want to start the interview from the... So, you know, this interview will literally be about this book, I think, because things that I want to ask, you've written about.
Yes.
And I want to start from the end.
From the end?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I remember I sent you a text.
Yes.
Once I finished.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, what a powerful... I knew you read the book.
Yes,
and
yes. And the only other time I've ever done that was Chimamanda's Americana.
Okay.
I finished reading it and I sent her a long message.
Yes.
The same thing. And I remember telling you, I have to stop now.
Yes.
Because if I don't stop talking, I will drown you. Because the ending was so powerful.
Yeah.
One image of my mother remains in my mind. It best captures her character, attitude, and stance in general. Once when my mother was ill and Pearl's father came to visit, he left my mom with these words: I see that at the rate you are going,
Wicked man.
you are likely to see the old departed before me, he said. Please, please tell them that they should not be impatient. I am not ready to come home yet. You can greet them. My mother definitely got well, I suspect.
Yes.
Just so she could prove him wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the story that Pearl told, she was in Obosi with her dad when my mom, well dressed in a very beautiful outfit, walked in. Pearl complimented her. Ochie Dike, this dress is really something else. My mother turned, playfully raised an eyebrow, then swung back around and declared, and I'm a new fair.
And she couldn't be bothered. What you thought? I loved her for that.
That was powerful.
Yes.
You know, and for people who don't know what Anama Nife means, is do I give a damn?
I don't.
You know, you ended. That was my mother,
Yes.
Hope Onwenu.
Yes.
Two questions come from that. First is, you had a very textured relationship with your mother.
Yes. Yes.
No, let me ask. Can it be also said of you that you don't give a damn?
No, I don't. I really, you know I don't.
Yes, I know you don't. I know you don't. And I think we were talking about somebody who had a conversation with you lately, who had a different perspective of you before meeting you. And so do you find that for many people, that not giving a damnness is severely destabilizing for them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I can't help them. It runs in the blood, you know.
Yes, yes.
Because if you start giving a damn about what people think, you will be stopped in your tracks. You're not able to achieve everything you want to do. Well, you know, I don't pander to anyone. I give a damn what God thinks about me. But then he's the one that created me. And he created me for a purpose and gave me all the techniques and equipment and whatever, that talent that I need. So he knows I don't give a damn. He's given it to me not to give a damn, but to just be true to myself, true to my God, and go ahead and do what I need to do.
Yeah.
If you care about what people think, I'm sorry for you, because you will not be able to live a full life. You got to be wondering every minute, oh, what are they going to think about this if I say this? So somebody will always be offended, even if you keep quiet and don't say anything, they're offended by that. You say something, they're offended by that. So why bother? Why kill yourself? I can't come and kill myself at this time. I'm here for certain things, and I'm just going to stay focused on where I'm going. That's my attitude. It's not that I disrespect people. No, it's just that I need to focus on where I'm going.
You know, talking about that, it just makes me want, I'm resisting talking about your dad because that's one of the deepest topics with you, but it just, you know, my father's child, the son, but I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't worry you at all when people say, oh, Onyeka Onwenu is arrogant, Onyeka Onwenu is not nice. Is it even a tinge of worry if anybody says that? Does it ever bother you?
When some people try to defend, oh no, you don't spoil my reputation. I need them to think.
You told me that.
Don't spoil my reputation, please. But I know who I am.
Yeah.
Those who come close to me know who I am. And I'm just the opposite of those things that are put out about me. Yeah. The reason they are put out is people are scared of strong women. Women in our society are supposed to behave in a certain way. And when you don't fit that stereotype, they're scared. But if they take the time to really look, they find out that you are unique in yourself and you are a true child of God and you do care. And that's why you do the things you do. I do believe that at the end of the day, those who need to know me will know me. And that's all that matters.
So it's about caring about what really matters.
Yes.
You know, not performing.
Not performing for anybody.
Yeah.
No, you perform for an audience of one. My Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we're talking about that, you know, Obi Ezekwesili used to have a saying on her Twitter page, forever validated by my dad, who taught me never to condone nonsense.
She's her father's daughter.
You put it in the book.
Yes, I did. I did. Yes. There are many of us.
Yes.
I know them when I can spot them a mile away.
Yes. Yes.
They don't give a damn either.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
They've been loved by the first man in their life, the person that mattered most to them. And growing up, she was raised with that sense of resilience, that sense of self-worth. You never lose it. And that's why she's who she is.
Yeah.
I named quite a few of
Yes,
them.
Chimamanda,
Yes.
Adichie, I think Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
You and Chief Dosumu.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
she's my good friend.
Yes.
We understand that about each other when we meet. We laugh and we joke and we talk about.
Yeah.
And you see what they are doing, making sure that they uphold their father's name. It's very important to us because that person that gave you such deep love, the person that loved you best, you love back best. So you can't, in fact, you can say anything about me, you can do anything. You touch my father, I'm going to kill you. I will kill you. I had a conversation. I'm not going to mention her name.
Right.
She's also in the book.
Right.
And she's half. We call ourselves Nnajanu.
Right.
Our fathers are going to marry us. That's what our mothers say. Yeah, Nnajanu.
Yes, yes, yes. My mother used to say something. Yes.
In my own case, my father called me his wife. Right.
Right.
You know, so someone had offended her by saying something, putting out a story about her father that should not have been out. It wasn't
That's
like
this friend of yours.
This friend of hers.
Yeah.
And she called me, she said, only you are one of the few people who would understand. She could have said anything about me, but listen, warn her. The next time I see her, if she tries this again, she's not going to see me the way she knows me. She'll see me in another way. And I laughed. Days later, I was just praying and that thing came to my mind. I think God wanted me to laugh because I was so serious about what I was praying about. I remembered it and I fell on the floor rolling. The way she said, I'll take off my shoes, I'll take off my wig, and I will get her. Do anything to me.
Yeah.
Don't touch that man.
Yeah. But what is the thing about the daughter-father relationship, though? What is the thing?
It's like me asking you what is the thing about, because I know you and your mother, what is the thing about, it's just, he's my first husband, he's my first boyfriend, he's the first man that a daughter would know.
Yeah.
How that relationship goes actually mirrors your sense of who you are.
Right.
So that's why when I see fathers love their daughters, I mean, I'm touched. And I thank them for it. Because watch out, that daughter would be a great person. When I see mothers, sometimes we mothers, we overdo it. The fathers overdo it too. But mothers, hey, they overdo it. And it may not be so good when you overdo it, but a good dose of love. Because that's the person. There's something, the Oedipus complex. You fall in love.
Yeah.
You fall in love with your father. You fall in love with your and you're in competition with your father because, listen, this woman is for me. My mother and I, till the end of her day, we were in competition.
Yes. I'm going to talk about that.
You know, so I don't know. It's the way God made it, but it's quite natural. It's natural when you recognize it for what it is. And you recognize it for what it is.
Not deny it.
No, don't deny it. And don't, just, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Certainly. My mother loved me too, and I loved my mother. But I had a different relationship with my father.
Yeah.
My mother came to the recognition that, and she used it because I became her husband.
Yes.
I became my father to her. And to sort out all her problems, she'll just dump it on me and maybe travel abroad and go and stay for 1 year. So you deal with this, you do this.
Yeah.
So it's a very natural, it's the way God made it to be.
Yeah.
So long as you understand it, because it can be carried overboard and you end up spoiling the child. And that's not a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But the fact that he left when you were so young.
Yes.
There are two questions that come from that. One, when people will say when a father goes so young, then there's a risk of the child idealizing the father.
Yes.
Do you think that has happened in this
But
case?
of course. Who are we kidding? But I idealized him. I still do.
Right.
Even when my mom tried. And I talk about it in the book, but I didn't go into details. Because we were fighting. I said, I don't even know why my father married you. Forgetting that if my father didn't marry her, I would not be here, you know. And I said, I don't even know what he said, okay, let me now tell you about that, your father. He wasn't all that perfect, you know. This, that. I took it all in. I said, good, but I still love him to pieces. And at a point, my brother, who also adored his father, even though he didn't get as much attention from being an only son, surprisingly, he didn't get the kind of attention I did.
Right.
But at some point, you know, talking about our father, we would just say, well, this man was an angel, wasn't he? He really was. So it wasn't just me idolizing him. It was other people who came in contact. He was just one of those people that you meet, you come in contact with, and you never forget. There are still people that when they meet me on the street, they hold me and they start crying. I remember when I decided to run for the local government chairmanship in my place, and I had a meeting of the whole village, and there was an old man. He wouldn't let go. He told me that the last time he saw my dad, he was going to pay his school fees. He was going to put him there, do this, because he did that for a lot of people, at the expense of his own family. And he said, look what death did to me. But now you've come, and you still have us in mind. He was weeping, and I was weeping. That's the reaction that I get, and that gladdens my heart.
I mean, you had the story in the book of Simon Badiwe, the former governor.
Absolutely.
Coming just to share about your dad.
And I was so glad and grateful that he did that. Because we spent hours on end. He told me so many stories, how you used to carry me as a baby. He lived with my family.
Right.
And, you know, he went to Furabe, same school that my father went to. And my father facilitated all that. So that's D.K. Onwenu. They don't make them like that anymore. Not many of them that are so selfless, that would give you the last shirt off his back. He'll do anything for the next human being. He lived his life like that. And I thank God that I came from that man. Because I think I didn't get all of it, because I ain't going to be, no, I'm a little bit more careful. My father gives recklessly.
Right.
He does. My mother is a generous person as well, but my father is recklessly generous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I want to talk about it, but there's so much to talk about. So, you know, I want to leave that for you.
Okay.
Do you think that men seeing that light and that confidence, so there are two lights. There's the light, I think, of a daughter who has been loved and validated by her father. And there's a light of a person who is a star. Yeah? Because, Auntie, when you were younger, you were hot.
I was? I say it's a good thing. I was commenting, I said it's a good thing I didn't know it then.
Right.
I look back and I said, oh, yeah, you were smoking. It was a good thing that I did not know. So
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how you didn't know it, because I was in my 20s, when I saw a picture of you when you were in your 20s or something. I'm like...
I didn't know it.
Okay, we'll come to that. But do you think that men seeing those two things, that there has been a consistent desire to quench the light?
Yeah. It still goes on.
Why?
And it comes from quarters you would not even expect.
Yeah.
People who have more money, people who have fame, people who are well placed, and they are doing so, and I am in awe of them even. And they turn out and they're actually jealous of Onyeka, little old me. I don't understand it, but I feel really sorry for them. Because we are all so blessed. We are all so gifted. May not be in the same area. And God is a God of versatility. It would be so boring if everybody was like you or me. And because He loves the versatility, the differences, the variety, He distributes His gifts. All you gotta do is not look, and I thank Him for giving me that gift. I look at you, you've done well, I say, how did you do it? Congratulations. How did you do it? Maybe I can learn something from you. But I express myself in that validation of somebody else as a way of saying to God, thank you. Thank you what you've done in the life of this person, and thank you for what you're doing in my life. If there's any way I can improve myself, I'm on that journey. Life is a journey. You never quite get there, but you keep approaching. You keep moving.
Yeah.
You keep moving and conquering. And if you discover that, you will find that you absolutely have no reason to be jealous of the next person. And that jealousy can be stifling. It stifles you from actually relating with people, being friends, good friends with people, enjoying them, enjoying their company. You know, because you are worried, oh, you know, why has she got this and I haven't got that? But probably, if you look deeper, you will find that they also have their own troubles and challenges. And God has given them the anointing to carry that one that they are carrying. You don't have that anointing. I don't have the anointing to carry what you're carrying. That is the way it goes. So you don't envy. You don't become jealous. You have all that you need to reach the goals, fulfill the purpose for which you have been sent here. Don't look at the next. Only look at them in admiration and thank God for what He's doing in their lives. So yes, it's a daily battle for me everywhere I go. But because I'm used to it, I keep moving.
Is that the thing that makes people say? Because you were talking, when I was reading the book and I read it again, I just thought, you said, you know, you later realized that these rumors, some people had believed them.
Yes, they did believe them.
So when they say, oh, you know, there's a long list of people you are alleged to have slept with.
Absolutely.
Sonny Okosun.
Yes.
Fela.
Sonny Ade.
Obasanjo.
Yes. They even said he married me.
Obasanjo married you.
Yes.
Let us answer.
He said to me,
so did you marry Obasanjo?
He said to me, Onyeka, I said, Baba, I don't know. See me. And we had a good laugh about it. Because they described the day he came to carry wine in R&D Zogo. How helicopter was, you and who? Where?
This is why he was president.
Yes. And somebody had asked me that question 4 times. By the 5th time, I was ready to fight him. I said, leave me alone. Because I've explained to you, I don't know why you don't want to believe it. What is this? If he's going to marry me, then we'll make it public. Why would I be
hiding it?
You know, and a lot of times I actually refuse to address those questions.
Yes.
For example, that President Babangida.
Yes.
I was in the hospital and I had my 2nd son, and some people came to ask questions.
If he was the father.
Yes. You know, I did not even give them the acknowledgement of answering it. And this is the first time that I'm talking about it publicly. His Excellency knows how I dealt with it, and I think he admired the way I dealt with it. The First Lady also admired the way I dealt with it. Because if you have to respond, why is it? I've got to go out with, seeing me and you together doing, in those days, seeing both of us laughing, there's something going on here. Sonny Ade is my colleague, a respected colleague. We did songs together. It took me years to live it down. I think it was at the celebration of his 70th birthday.
You wrote about it.
That people actually realized, you know, these people were just working, doing good work together. Some people swore that we had a daughter. I wish I had a daughter. I have 2 boys. I raised 3 boys. One, my nephew. And DK is my nephew. I raised him from 18 months. So, yes, I wanted a girl, but I never had a girl. You think if I had a girl, you would not have seen her, known her? Haba. But it comes with the territory. And sometimes you have to look at it as a compliment. Hello. Yes. Thank you. At some point, one magazine linked me with 4 men at the same time. I said, I am strong. Hey, come on. You know? People want to sell their newspapers and sell their stuff. This was rampant. In the 80s and the 90s. And it brought down a lot of female musicians. It brought them down. They left the scene, never came back. I refused that it would bring me down. I took on some of the stories. I went to court. I won the cases. And once they realized that, in fact, that I went to court because my mother said, if she's usually the one that said, ignore them. But she said, if you don't go to court, I'm going. So I took that person to court and I won. They never paid up what they were saying, but it wasn't about
money.
the money.
Yeah.
But you know, you have to be patient with God. Someone read this book and said, why did you allow them to think? And it's only now, at almost 70, that you're now telling us. I said, because this is the time. This is the time. So I'd like to tell people that in show business, every publicity is good publicity.
You said it in the book.
Yes. So I used it was good publicity for me. It wasn't that good, but it was
you
good.
Made it into
I made it into something good.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, all those people began to respect me.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Because I guess it's powerful if you are the president of the country and people are saying you are doing something with a woman who you know for sure. You know, Auntie, there are stories that me and you have shared privately. We cannot discuss.
No, we can't.
But they know
Yes.
that she's not that kind of woman.
No, they know.
And she has the dignity to even withstand that and not talk too much and just be like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm moving on with my career.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That is the strength of character. I think I gained that from both. I'm actually very lucky. I gained that from both parents. Because my father also attracted a lot of jealousy.
Yeah.
DK. If he walks into a place, every place comes to a standstill.
Yeah.
DK. He does his abada. He does it. And when he speaks, when he's giving a speech, school's closed. I said, take your notebook and take your English lesson. DK Onwenu is speaking today. He was extraordinary.
Yeah.
And he was rising so fast at age 40. He was about to be made the Minister for Education.
Right.
And he would have been excellent for it. There was a lot of jealousy.
Yeah.
We know what happened to him.
The story seems to hint that his passing wasn't
It wasn't natural. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But, you know, God does not allow what he doesn't want to allow. He was too good to stay. So he had done what needed to be done. And God took him. So they would not have succeeded. The people that didn't know, and they know that we know, they know that the Onwenu family, they know that we know. One of them actually remained a close friend of the Onwenu family because he was not part of what happened.
Right.
And he gave the true story of what went on behind the scenes. You know, it wasn't just one person. It was people who were scared of his rising profile. So my mother attracts the same. My mother is a show businesswoman. She's a songwriter.
Yes.
She's an actress.
Yes.
She's a storyteller.
Yes.
She's a writer.
Yes.
Come on. The woman was and she's a dresser.
You said so.
Good looking. Puts
The
herself
the album art for Sodom and Gomorrah remix or something, where two of you.
Yes, we're standing next to each other.
Incredible.
Yes.
With her low cut
Yes.
as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And letting her grey all hang out.
Yes. It's like that is so people praise your grey. I'm like, this is
that's where
the original art.
Yes. So
Talking about jealousy. Oh God, there's so much. Talking about jealousy. Your book, you know, what struck me was, and so it is interesting because, you know, at first I had offered to help write the book.
let me just stop you there.
Right.
And say something to the world.
Okay.
You were my first editor.
Thank you. Thank you.
When the first thing I wrote in this book, the first things I wrote, I sent to you. In fact, when I now decided to work on the book full time, I had lost some of them. You had to send them back.
Yes.
It was your reaction.
Right.
I'm making a confession.
Right.
It was your reaction that said, yes, go ahead and write this book. This book is going to be interesting. Yes, that's what you did.
Thank you.
So
I'm honored.
Continue.
Thank you, man. I'm honored. Right. So, oh my God. Okay. Okay. So one of the things that struck me when we were talking about the story was the intense jealousy that you dealt with within your own family.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was difficult, but I understood it for what it was. Sibling rivalry is what it is. I don't know what to say, except that if you have gone through it, in your life, you know that it is there within the family. Same mother, same father. And my mom did everything that she could, God bless her, to compensate. Because my father didn't bother. He didn't hide it. This is my favorite child. I may have just one son. I'm an Igbo man and I have one son. But this is my favorite child. And if she cries and you're nearby, no questions asked, you pay for it.
Responsibility.
My mom, knowing that we understood each other in that way, my mom went overboard. We both understood what was going on. Because I was never her favorite. In fact, I was her mate. My mate with the 3 toes.
Yes.
You know, she would never, if there's an argument, say, I told you about this child called Onyeka. Nobody will believe me. Look at it now. She would never take my side. She would take the opposite side. And she told me one day when she sold me a piece of land that she bought.
Your mom?
My mom bought. She was very worried about what would happen after she was gone. And she decided that she would give me my own piece of land near the family home. Because she knew I would be the one to take care of the family home. But if for any reason I had to go, that at least I could build my own house nearby. She said, I should ordinarily give you everything because of what you have done for this family. But I'm not going to. I'm going to sell you this piece of land for profit. So that no one can come and say that I was playing favoritism. And I said, I understand. She sold it to me for good profit and got a member of the family to be a witness. Did it stop them from trying to take the land?
Exactly.
It still didn't.
Yes, after she passed.
After she passed. But she did everything to balance, because really it's quite natural to have that rivalry. Especially the way that my father was going on and on and on about Munye Nene, everything was about me.
The thing, so it's natural with your brother Richard.
Yes.
It felt beyond natural. It seemed that that must have felt lonely and painful.
It was extremely, because he loved me.
Right.
Yes. He loved me. And I loved. He was my father. He played that role for me.
Right.
This is a guy who was my best friend.
Right.
That we could talk until 3. My children know this. 3, 4 in the morning, we're still talking. He taught me so much. He worked with me and then declared on my 50th birthday, pointed at me and said, that's my boss. I work with her. She's my boss. When we get to the family, it's a different thing. But she's my boss. It's a guy who was very sure of himself. What happened was people got involved and did everything they could to turn his eyes away
From you.
Family members, close family members, not my siblings, close family members got involved and played such a terrible role in taking his eyes, his focus off holding the family. He was an extraordinary human being. Funny, could laugh at himself, could have you in stitches. He was a loyal son and a loyal brother. Yes, he put a lot of the responsibilities on me because he knew that I could handle them and do it with love. And he knew that we had one purpose, and that was to preserve my father's name. And he played his role. A lot of the stories that I'm telling now, he confirmed to me that yes, this was what happened. This was what our father was like. I love him till tomorrow. And when he passed, it was so heartbreaking.
Yeah, you said that.
I've not recovered from it. Because I think that we still had time to remedy what went wrong at a particular time in our relationship. It could have been remedied. Because the love we shared, it was just unquestionable. So those things happen. It's life. what I've learned over the years is the ability to forgive. Don't even do it for the next person, do it for yourself. Because not forgiving someone is punishing yourself for something someone did to you. So I picked it up early. You let go. You forgive. And you keep loving. And you keep moving. Where he is now, he has a better view of things. And he does come to me in the dreams. That lets me know that, you know, he's very much around and very much caring. So I love him. Would love him till I meet him up in heaven. And would love him there. And we both love the family. Something went wrong. Something went wrong. It's unfortunate. But I think that now, with the perspective that he has as a spirit, he knows.
He can see what happened.
He can see what happened. And those who were responsible for it, they know what they did and they're paying for it. Because if you sow discord in someone else's family, you cannot reap peace in your family. That's all I can say.
Right. Speaking about your brother, there's, you know, one of the most powerful things, and I have to read this, was when I stepped into their day for work living room. Your dear friend, you know, because she featured more than once in the story. My friend's mom was in deep conversation with a younger woman. She was Pastor Bimbo Odukoya of the Fountain of Life. And I have a story about this. I was introduced to her, and Bimbo Odukoya asked me one question only. Onyeka, how is your Christian life? I fell apart.
I did.
All the fear, anxiety, depression, and insecurities came tumbling out. What fears? What was the thing that was happening with you at this time?
My marriage was very difficult at that time. My husband and I had been through life and death situations. He had been unjustly accused of what he didn't do. And we were living in separation most of the time because he could not be in the country. He could not be in the country. And we had a child. And it fell on me to take care of the whole, my own family, my immediate family, my extended family, and also the people who worked for him. And I knew that the man was innocent. All that was going on. It was, nobody knew on the outside. My work was going on. And when you come out, you put on a smile, you go and, you know, you give this fantastic show and you make people happy. And you go home alone. And one thing that my mother bequeathed me was discipline. You discipline yourself to do what you need to do, and you don't let people down. And I wasn't about to let my husband down. I knew some of his friends were coming around and, let's take you out. And I said, in fact, that would be the last time you speak to me. I was a young girl. I was hot, like you said, even though I didn't know it, but I was. So there was that temptation. And God, being the God that he is, saw me through that period. But can I tell you that it was a very, very painful, difficult period of my life. So that's what happened. And I'd also been looking for God. Not that I didn't have him, but I was looking for a closer relationship. And he too had been calling me. But I wasn't listening to him. I was searching in my own way, and he was always there. So sometimes God would allow things to happen to you that will force you to look in the right direction. All that combined was happening. And who do you go to talk to? Very few people that I could talk to. And my friend reached out to me, Funke, God bless her, and said, look, girl, you got to come with me to this meeting. You know, you got to do this. And I said, I don't want to go to church now. They say, there's Onyeka Onwenu. And he takes my attention. He said, come, I'm going to shield you. Let's go. Meet up with me at such and such a time. And Funke's mom is one of the most beautiful women that God created.
Right.
She's passed on now. And for some reason, she absolutely adored me. In fact, it was too much. She said to Funke, look at your friend. Why can't you do this? I said, oh, you're not helping me here. Stop. She adored me.
Yeah.
And that, I felt at home in their home. So when I walked in and saw her with this young lady, I went past by, I greeted them and I went past by. I hung out with Funke for a while and said, let's go, we're going to be late. And just passing, I was just gingerly going to go to the church thing. And then the question dropped. Whew. It took the lid off of what I had been trying to press down. And I broke down.
Mm.
And that was it. And I'd never looked back
Since then.
Because it's not that when you give your life, that all your wahala is
Yes,
just
you said so.
For
yeah,
where?
Yes.
That
So
is when you
the
start.
fact that I gave my life to Jesus Christ did not put an end to my challenge.
At all. They increased. Because the devil said, now you want to find the right way, I am going to deal with you.
Yeah.
But there's a difference.
Yeah.
You know that you're a winner already.
Right.
You know that any which way the devil throws you around, you're going to win.
Yeah.
For all things work together for good.
Right.
For those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. That was the first verse, my favorite verse. So any way you put it, I'm going to come out a winner. I'm going to learn lessons. I'm going to be a better person for it.
Yeah.
That's what I learned.
So it was this encounter with
Yes.
through Pastor Bimbo with Christ.
Yes.
Was that what helped you come out of the depression?
Oh, yes.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Specifically, yes.
Specifically.
Because depression had been on for a number of years.
Oh, it had been on, yes. And some people are prone to depression anyway.
Right.
If you have that kind of makeup, you really have to train yourself not to fall into it. So when it starts coming on, I know what to do. I know where to go. If something begins to affect me in that way, I know where to go and lay it down. Walk away. I ain't got the power to deal with it. I don't got to do this. I don't have to do any of this.
Yeah.
Here, Lord, you take it.
Yeah.
It's all yours.
Right.
And I walk away smiling.
Yeah.
That's what giving my life
Christ.
taught me. And particularly being at the Fountain of Life Church.
Right.
I talk about Pastor Bimbo.
Yeah.
I don't talk enough about Pastor Taiwo.
Mm.
I don't know where I would be without what those two put in me. The prayers, the encouragement. So Pastor Taiwo, if he gets to see, I've not expressed my gratitude enough to Pastor Taiwo. But he meant a lot. He did a lot in my life. And the church itself. Because what I learned that struck me early enough was, don't always be running to somebody to pray for you. Let us teach you how to
pray.
You have that access that your pastor. Yes, there are certain things that you're going to need that man of God to. Yes. Yeah. But most of the time, you can pray for yourself. Yeah. You can get yourself away from certain things. Yeah. Just providing the foundation and the basis for you to grow in the Lord was what the Fountain of Life did for me. Was what Pastor Taiwo and Pastor Bimbo and now Pastor Nomti.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think that,
So for those who don't know, Pastor Nomti is the wife of Pastor Taiwo.
Exactly.
After Pastor Bimbo passed.
She didn't just marry Pastor Taiwo. She married the whole church. Right. And the effect of that marriage is being felt by all of us. Right. Because if she was not a good woman, we would also have felt it. Yeah. So this is, me saying thank you to them and to the members of the church in what they have deposited inside me. Yeah.
I want to talk about this.
Including my daughter.
What's her name? I just interviewed her last month.
Tolu
Ijogun.
Including her, but including the whole family.
Yes.
Tolu is just so special.
Yes.
That's all I can say.
That's all you can say.
And so wise.
Right.
That's all I can say for now.
Speaking of marriage, so you never spoke about your marriage for
No.
years.
No, I didn't.
People, I remember one of your weddings, one of your birthdays, I think it was the 50th or your 60th, when you had an in-law, your sister-in-law say,
It was my 50th.
show them your husband. Even all the time, all the rumors were going around.
Yeah.
When you could have said, look, I have a husband, leave me alone. You didn't
Why stop the fun?
stop the fun. You never talked about it. Then you talk about it in this book.
Yes. Yep, blew your mind. Blew your mind, eh? Yeah.
Auntie, that was one tough marriage.
Yes, yes, it was.
How cold, the first question that came to me is how cold a strong, powerful woman like yourself allows such a level of emotional abuse? How?
I don't know. And that was why I wrote it. Because for some of us women, we think, oh, we are all that and a bag of chips. No man gonna do it. No. Your circumstances will dictate how you react to something like that. And so there are women who are taking emotional abuse and keeping quiet and putting up with it until they die in it. There are women who are taking physical abuse, putting up with it until they die in it. I was never physically abused.
Yes.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Let's be clear.
Yes.
But then what I can say about my sister-in-law, hey, God bless her.
Yeah.
She was my rock.
Yeah.
Still is my rock.
Right.
The worst thing you can do to yourself is to go and say, Onyeka Onwenu did this. I say, what did you say?
Yeah.
She would deal with you.
Right.
She loved me. And we always had that grace. My mother had it with Mama Abba, my father's sister.
Right. Right.
My mother could do no wrong.
Right.
If there's a quarrel, if my father gets hint that Mama Abba is coming, she has been called to be, he would leave the house because he knows that where the blame will go, it will go on him. So we always had that grace. So I had this wonderful sister-in-law, and I had a wonderful father-in-law
Right.
who he loved me, and he reminded me so much of my husband because they looked physically, they looked alike. So I had that. I also had other members of the family who weren't so nice, but that happens in any given situation.
Yeah.
But let me get back to my husband, and I don't like talking about it, but because you raised it and because I had written about it, I have to expatiate.
Right.
The man was a good man, is a good man, who put up with so much that was done to him that would have killed anybody else.
Right.
I have a lot of regard for him. The marriage was incredible. It was incredibly beautiful.
Right.
It was passionate. I mean, it was, let's not just go there. It was passionate. We were friends.
Right.
We were the sort of friends who could stay in the house for like a month, not step out.
Right.
And yeah, we were preoccupied, reading paper, doing whatever. He was a very good friend. But sometimes when things happen to people, they change. And sometimes instead of taking it out on the people who have caused the problem, it's expedient to take it out on the closest people to you. That happened. Why did I take it for so long? Because I loved him. And I loved my children. And my children loved their father. So you make sacrifices because of the family. But there comes a time when you have to say, I've done enough of the sacrificing, and if you really care about your children, you save yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it could have killed me. It could have killed me. So you save yourself.
Right.
I was going down, and again here my brother comes in. Yeah. Why am I talking to you about all these things? My brother comes in because it took my brother calling me aside one day to say, you're losing yourself. He did that. He also took my first son, referring to the fact that all he wants for me is to be happy. And I knew he knew I was not happy. And I had to be happy for him. So for my sake and for the sake of the family, I had to remove myself from a situation. Because, you see, for some men, it's difficult to break a relationship they have no reason breaking. But maybe there is a reason for them that they're not willing to share. And what we could have done was to part amicably. That is always, in fact, I think these days people celebrate divorce. And I think that's a good thing.
Yes, people throw divorce parties.
Absolutely. If you have to go your separate ways, do so amicably. And hopefully, for the sake of the family, remain friends. That could have happened, but I realized it was difficult for my husband to do that.
Right.
The only way that he could step away was to make it, convince himself that I was not okay. And he worked so hard, and I would call him and say, why are you doing this? You know, you don't need to do this. You don't need to. And I wish that he had listened to me. Maybe, you know, things would have been different. Not that we would stay together. I'm not afraid of being alone. I'm a loner. Nakia, as I call myself. Yeah. I can be, but I love my own company.
Yeah.
So any man that's going to love me, and you know the other person I'm talking about.
Until you're coming there.
Oh boy,
there.
you gotta love yourself.
Yeah.
And you gotta be able to spend time by yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to accept the fact that I can do that as well.
Yourself, right? Yeah.
So that's what happened. My husband, I pray for him on a daily basis.
Even now.
Even now. More so now.
Wow.
More so now. That it will be well. Because he's a good man. The way things happen does not define me and does not define him. The only thing that was the deal breaker for me was the inability to forgive me for walking away from an abusive situation. And so to punish me further, he did something that I think he will answer to God for at the end of the day. I'll leave it at that. But we love him.
Right.
The kids and I. Oh, I'm calling them kids. They're going to kill me.
They're going to kill you.
The man and I. We love him.
Yeah.
And we've chosen to forgive him.
What I love about how you said it is that it is possible to hold a person accountable. And this is something you do skillfully in your book. Even from Sonny Okosun, who took an interest in your career.
Yes.
Then said, you know, come and stay in my room. You know, but you held the two things in tension.
Yes.
This is the support Sonny Okosun gave to me.
Yes.
This is Sonny Okosun asking me to come and sleep with him.
And I said no.
No. Those two things. This is the man. He's not perfect.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
Your brother, I loved him. He was a great man. Yes. But this is what he did to me. This is what he tried to take away from me, family property, all of that.
Yes.
And the same thing with your husband. So you can, but people struggle with that, the ability to hold the person accountable.
Yes.
But still love and forgive the person.
And still love and forgive them. Yes. If you can find yourself, if you can gain that the ability to do that, you're good.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to meet a perfect person. Hello, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, all these people, I'm sure they can sit down and tell, and Onyeka did this, and they will be absolutely, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I try to be, but I am not.
All efforts failed.
Oh, woefully. I am not. Even with my children, I will go back to them and say, I'm sorry that I did this. This is why I did it, or I said that. Be able to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And mean it. Never do it again.
Yeah.
And then
move on.
Keep moving.
Okay. Before I move, I want to talk about greatest love. Before that, I just want to get this out of the way. Fela wanted you to marry him.
Fela is a trickster. He knew I would say no.
Right.
He knew. He had a bet with someone. That person is alive today.
Right.
You know, Dede. Dede would tell you. Say he said, Dede, see, she's going to run. She's going to run. So he knew I would say no. I think it was his way of thanking me for coming out in support of him when he was jailed. Because I took a chance writing that article in his favor. That was widely read.
Was it in Tempo or before Tempo?
No, it was in Vanguard.
Vanguard, right.
It was in Vanguard.
When he was arrested.
When he was arrested. And I said, why? Money he had earned. He's taking his band outside. He's going to pay for hotel. They have the why 1,700 something pounds. Why this is so wrong? And we had the case of the 53 suitcases and all that. And some people said, go and arrest her. It was Idiagbon who said no.
Right.
Leave that woman alone. That woman loves Nigeria. So, Fela knew what he was doing.
Right.
Fela is full of drama. But I somewhere that night.
Yeah, because even if he knew what he was doing, the women.
Oh man, they got ready for me. I'm going to Chude. Then what I said, Chude, am I safe? And Chude said, don't worry. I said, okay. And they will walk 2 by 2, 3 by 3. They will walk around again
and check you out.
No, they will be talking about me and looking at me.
Oh, really?
That if you dare say yes, we're going to kill you
in this trial.
This is the end of you. So when I told him, I said, look at them. I said, how can I marry? Look at them. They're all already. He laughed. He had a great night. He was laughing. He had fun. Yeah. And we really enjoyed ourselves that night. But it was one-on-one with him. And he couldn't be bothered to wear clothes for the person you're about to impress to marry. For where? Yeah. He was himself. Yeah. And we just had a conversation. We just joked around, talked about the country, talked about music, and I got ready. I said, this is late for me. And gotta get out of here. And that was it.
You have this chapter of your book about encounters.
Yes.
But what I found out is that there's almost no president from Shagari downwards that you've not had, and by the word intimate, I mean close encounters with. All of them.
All of them, yes.
From trying to talk to Abacha to help your husband when he was falsely accused.
Yes.
To Abacha asking you to do a song against Mandela. Yeah, you said so. To Obasanjo and the many, many encounters.
Yes.
To Goodluck Jonathan.
Yes.
And
who gave me the position.
The position. Yes. To Idiagbon, to Buhari, who you don't seem to be a fan of.
Buhari?
Yes.
Why not?
Okay.
Not now. Not now. Not now. But before, he had a great deal of respect for me.
Right.
And respect begets respect.
Right.
So I got to say that for him. And I talk about how we met the first time. Yeah. I didn't even know who he was, but he was out to help me. Yeah. So I don't hate him, but I hate what's going on in my country. Yeah. That is all. Yeah. And I'm able to separate the two and say, Mr. President, I don't like what is going on here. But him as a person, the way that I interacted with him, I have many good things to say. There's one of the few I will give microphone and he will actually sing. He wouldn't.
This Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes! And we're performing This Land.
Yeah.
I walked up to him, gave him, he sang. Right. I'm saying, oh my, the others would go, he sang. Yeah. Because he was moved by the song. And I remember when I met up with him, when he came back this time around, and there was a briefing of what the Ministry of Women Affairs and my parastatal, which was under that ministry, were doing. And I was the only one representing my parastatal. And Mr. President wanted me to speak. And he kept asking one question. He asked that question 3 times. Right. He's alive, and if he sees this, I hope he remembers. He kept, so what are you people doing for the IDPs? And it so happened that I already was doing so much.
Yes, yes.
And he wanted me to talk about it. Right. They wouldn't let me talk the first time. Right. He asked it a second time. Right. He asked it a third time. So I leaned over to the permanent secretary. At that time, the ministers had gone, and it was the permanent secretaries that were in charge. I said, Mr. President would like, let me brief him. And he said, yes, Onyeka, yes, yes. And I said, Mr. President, sir, with the kind permission of the permanent secretary, you have to be nice about these things. and said, let me tell you. He said, yes, yes.
That's right. So
It was my presentation that ended, and I could see the relief
on his face.
And I got the feedback that he was actually very happy with the work
that you had done.
that we were doing. And I value that validation.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
you separate the two.
I separate the two.
So you were upset at the state of the nation
Absolutely.
under his leadership.
Absolutely.
But as a person, you find him to be a decent man.
Yes.
So
in dealing with me.
In dealing with you.
Yes.
In dealing with you. I love that.
Yes.
And because we've gone out of time, but I have questions to ask. You people be patient. Just give me some time.
I'm in trouble today.
But so there are videos. You've talked about Biafra. You've talked
Yes.
about the civil war.
Yes.
And that's the hot topic. That's the Nigeria
Yes.
today.
Yes.
So people have said you are in support of, for somebody who sang One Love, Unity song, that you seem to be sympathetic towards the modern Biafra agitation.
I don't know if, yes, I am sympathetic.
Right, okay.
I'm very sympathetic.
Right.
You know why?
Why?
Because it is their right.
Right.
If people feel that they are being marginalized,
Right.
and they can point out how they are being marginalized, they are being maltreated, they are being hated, and they say, look, give us a chance then to go on our own way. I've said it, and I'm going to say it again. If you don't want us, let us go. It's as simple as that. I am not agitating for the breakup of Nigeria. I love Nigeria. I'm emotionally invested in Nigeria. I married outside my area. I am 1 foot here and
Yes,
one
your
foot
husband
there.
is a Yoruba Muslim.
Yes,
Was a Yoruba. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes. My children are Yoruba, and proudly so. Oh, you don't come to my house and start bad-mouthing anyone. They will deal with you. Even if you are their mother, you dare not. They will tell you where to go.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of them for that.
Yeah.
But we are all human beings. We have human rights. I'm a full-fledged Nigerian. You cannot maltreat me. You cannot maltreat me in this country. Treat me like a second-class citizen. Treat me like I have no rights. Treat me badly and expect me to accept it and smile and say, thank you very much. I ain't going to do that. I will fight for my right. I will tell you that I'm not your slave. I'm not available to be abused or maltreated. It's as simple as that. Why have I got to apologize for being Igbo? There's a platform I belong to, and I said, oh, I'm proudly Igbo. And they said, what did you say? As if I'd spoken the wrong to say I'm proudly. I am proudly Igbo. I'm Igbotic. Any way you want to put it. That's who I am.
Right.
God in his infinite wisdom put me there. If he made me Yoruba or Fulani or Hausa or Shekiri, I will be proudly where he has put me and where I come from. Right. And I am proudly Nigerian. Right. The best thing that could happen to us in this country is for Nigeria to stay together as a country of a united people, fair to all, where justice reigns, where there's peace, where we understand and value each other and respect each other, and where we can be the best that God has made us to be. That is the best thing that can happen. But if it cannot happen, then can I tell you that there will be no Nigeria? No. Because no human being will accept a situation where they are slaves in their own country. Why do we want a situation like that? I can't give my best. If Nigeria had been able to give me the opportunities that I know should have been available to me, I'd have done a lot more than I have done. I have a lot more to give this country. But because there is prejudice, but because there is unfairness in the way we are treated, and I know how many opportunities I've lost because I spoke out and I spoke the truth about what was going on around me. I know how many opportunities I've lost. But I take it with a smile and I take it with gratitude and say, thank you, Lord. Because nothing will make me stop speaking the truth. I will respect you, I will love you, but I will tell you my truth. You can speak your truth, but I'll speak mine. Right. So That is the way it is.
Right.
You can't come and abuse Igbo people.
Yeah.
My father to me is the epitome of an Igbo man.
Yeah.
You're abusing my father.
Yeah. I get that. I think that takes care of all the questions I was going to ask about. But for those, when you were speaking, I'm like, okay, I can see why you would run for office. You did at the local government level because of the way you talk about it. But again, my producers are, so there are 3 buckets I want to deal with. But serendipity, music, and you have to do
something.
Well, first, you took a lot of heat for defending Patience Faka Jonathan. Yeah. In fact, in the thick of the height of her unpopularity, after There Is God, you went on Channels TV and said, this is a good woman.
Yes, she is.
Why?
Because she is. She's a fantastic human being.
And people said it's because she gave you a position.
Mbano. Before I went in there, though that position brought me closer to her. So I got to know her better. But myself and my mom my mom thought she was the most beautiful woman. So my mom was so we shared that. This woman is a very intelligent woman.
Really?
Very resourceful woman. Can read situations better than you and I. I learned a lot from her. I'll tell you one story. By the way, when the second book comes, there are a lot of things that are not in the book that will be there. So don't mind me coming up with them now. We went somewhere and, with a group of women, and we all went to the buffet table. And we were loading our plates. Loading. You know how Nigerians are. She was just watching us. She didn't say anything. When we finished and we went back to where we were staying, she called us and gave us good advice. She said, you see, that food, the one you have in your house is more. When you are in public, know how much you are going to eat and take that much. Then when you get home, bring out everything you have in the freezer. Spread it in front of you, sit on the floor and eat it anyhow.
Yeah.
I never forgot that. So it was little nuggets like that. And when she analyzed the situation in the country at the time, she was spot on. She was spot on. She got it right. Now all these kidnappings that are going on, she got it right. I mean, let's give her the credit. And again, someone who can look at themselves and laugh at their frailties and their foibles, that person is a very secure human being. They know, she knows who she is. She knows she's a terrific woman. And any day, any time, her company, I would not want to miss if I have the opportunity to sit with her because I'm on the floor laughing.
Okay. Until you're in love.
I am in love.
You said it in the book. Not me. It's not me. It's in the book. After all this, what was beautiful for me? And you said you struggled with putting that chapter in.
Yes.
Should I not?
Yes, I did.
And we've had some conversations privately that gives me even deeper perspective as to that. But after this huge heartbreak and pain in your marriage for years, then it turned out that there was somebody in your life from your past with whom you share the love. I mean, people have to read the chapter.
Yes.
But what can you tell us about this love? Why did this?
I don't know. I wish, because I've often asked God, and I've been very angry with God and said, why? Why did you bring these two people together to share the kind of love that very few people have known? Why did you do it? But he also allowed me to forget about it because it was the only way I could deal with it. So that I'm able to love my husband because I loved my husband. And I questioned, so I said to someone who knew both of them, I said, how could I have? He said, yes, it's possible. But the love that I shared with this man started when I was 13 years old. And when I read that Queen Elizabeth fell in love with Prince Philip.
Right.
When she was 13. I said, oh my God, I am not alone. Thank you, Jesus. I'm not alone. Because I did fall in love.
Yeah.
And I recognized that, not knowing what love meant, I recognized that this was the love of my life. And I think having read it, I think you were the one who commented and said this was the closest to my father's love that I had experienced.
Yes.
And you were absolutely right.
Yes.
This person loved me, knew me, built me up, told me who I was before I knew who I was.
Yeah.
And it ended when it ended. We, both of us, didn't quite know what happened, but I don't think we were meant to be together. And we went our separate ways. We could have married, but I wasn't ready.
Yes. Yes.
And looking back, he wasn't ready at the time.
Right.
And even when he became ready, I wasn't ready. And then we lost touch.
Yeah.
We met up again. Somehow everything happens by serendipity.
Yeah. That was the
It's
title
by-
of that chapter.
Of the
by
chapter.
serendipity.
It's by chance. It's never planned. I say, oh, now, and not once in my life did I ever, and he was a close friend of my brother's. Even my brother, I never asked him, so where is he now and what is it? No, I never asked. He will come into my life, and when I look at the time he comes into my life, he was needed. And he comes in as a friend, as a very good friend. And we think that we can carry on as friends, but we quickly realize no. And one of the things that I've admired about him is his integrity.
Right.
And if you love someone, you let them go. If they come back to you, they are truly yours.
Right.
If they don't, they never belong to you.
Right.
So we both have we've grown spiritually
Right.
because of this relationship and entrusted it to God who put us together because we sense that there is a reason. And something, when it works out, you realize that there's something you're supposed to do together. And if you're going to stay on as friends, God will give you the grace to be able to do that.
Right.
I don't know where it's going to go. We might end up, because sometimes we do disagree. Yeah, we do disagree. And I say, I'm never going to talk to him again. For where? For where?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But what I can tell you is that we both have integrity.
Right. Yeah.
And I value him as a child of God because he's such a sensitive, super soul
Yeah. Yeah.
individual.
Yeah.
And you don't meet people like him every time. He's just very special.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. And I'm going to tell him, oh God.
I love it. Anytime you talk about him, about this.
Whew, there's some things you don't really, God, it's in his hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for his own reasons.
Yeah.
At the time when I left Nigeria, after the war, we met up again on the streets of Lagos, just ran into each other. I didn't know he was in the country. He didn't know I was in Lagos. And that was when the true love affair really, I'd been infatuated. I'd been in love all that time. I think he was too.
Yeah.
But I was too young.
Yeah.
But he was in love with my spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then meeting me up again, oh my God.
Yeah.
And this one, my mother would just be watching us, both of us, not saying anything.
Right.
He was so scared because he loved my mom as well.
Right.
And my mom loved him like a son. He was so scared, knowing how powerful my mother is, that my mother loved him.
Right.
And my mother was watching the two of us interacting, saying, oh my God. What she had feared was happening.
Yeah.
And my mother understood. And every member of my family knew about the relationship.
Right.
And knew how strong and powerful it was. So however it ends up, I think we've both come to this conclusion. Be grateful for the people that God brings into your life.
Yeah.
Some may be for the whole length of time.
Yeah.
Some may be for periods of time, for a reason. Only God knows.
Yeah.
But be grateful. If you find the kind of love that I shared with this man, be grateful for it.
Be grateful for it.
That's all.
For those who are struggling, so this is where it is. My auntie Onyeka, fell in love at 13, lost touch with the person, and you read it in the, that's why you have to read the book. Fell in love with the person, went apart, came again, went apart again, came again, went apart. And for some reason, so people usually people expect a happily ever after. And it is happily ever after because you are enjoying, the friendship.
Absolutely.
But, it is not in the cliche way people expect it to enter. Yes. So we wait for the next book to see what happens. That's the bottom line. We wait for the next book to see how the life takes both of you. But you are sure that this is a love that is a deep, protective, nurturing love.
Very.
Yeah, you told me, you sent me a prayer, you said, I hope you find a person like this. Yes, I receive it. I receive it. You fought battles in your life. Eish, Auntie. You fought battles from the get-go. So remember the first story, your friend said to you, are you going to sleep with him when you were there? And you said,
I said yes.
Do you want to watch? Because she thought she was going to shame you.
Yes.
And this was a random platonic...
Listen, there are always 25 of us.
Right.
And we were all so close and we hung out together and this was Margarita. This was her MO. Okay?
Yes.
She will embarrass you at the worst moment. And everybody knew this.
Yeah.
But that day, she never
expected it.
Never. In fact, I think I got in touch with her later. I sent her the link. I said, you better get this. So she when she reads it, she's going to fall down laughing. Yeah. Because that was the end of her teasing people and trying to embarrass them.
So from small things like that to big things, your record deal with EMI, or your record deal that led to you forming a YOLO Productions.
Yes.
Being cheated, even to small microaggressions like don't perform before me, perform first, to your husband's thing, to Abacha, to the and the first time I interviewed you, and I won an award for that interview, by the way.
Wow.
The Nigerian Media Merit Award for Entertainment Journalist of the Year. For the true love interview I did with you.
You certainly deserve it.
Thank you. And I remember how angry you were that if I wanted to write about the Million Man March, you said, then I should have asked you.
Yes.
I shouldn't have just written about it because I went with the story we heard. And then you explained, so you had to fight that battle.
Yes.
To all the people who wanted, sexual favors. To, we can spend a whole day on the Nigerian Women Development Center. And the unnamed honorable minister who was threatened. All of that. You fought this battle. So you fought personally in your family, as your father's favorite child, taking care of your mother, all of that. How do you handle the loneliness that must come from having to fight so many of these battles?
With God, you cannot be lonely. We have the kind of relationship where we gist.
You and God?
We do. Big time. It will just drop something and say, no, you didn't. No, you didn't just do that. Tell me you didn't do that. So that's how I fight loneliness. And I just said I'm somebody who I enjoy my own company.
Yes, I know that for a fact.
My children are the same way. I raise them like that. They have friends, but they don't need to be validated by the number of friends that are hanging around, or I got to be friends with this. They are full of themselves in their own right, doing their own thing, and that's what I do. So loneliness is that there are times, you're only human, but at those times I turn to God, and I said, and He keeps me occupied. He keeps me occupied. When you look at the fact that I look at my life, and when I was writing this book, people think I don't have doubts. I do. I have insecurities.
I find that hard to believe.
Oh, yes, I do. I didn't think I could write. People have been telling me, you write 20. Oh, where? I said, me? I don't know how to write them. But at some point, I realized that, yes, I have my own style. I have my own words. And I have my own way. I didn't quite realize I had inherited my mother's storytelling ability. But apparently, I had. So when God reveals to you, bit by bit, I can never be able to do that. And He puts you in a situation where you are doing it. And then you realize, It's not bad. I actually did well. It gives me a revelation that he's just dropped something with me that I will share with you momentarily. It gives me the revelation that there is nothing I cannot do. That truly I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I shared the story of the ritual my father and I had, how he would bring out coins and ask me to pick which one I wanted, the shilling, the sixpence, the farthing, the penny. The penny was the biggest coin. And it had a hole in the middle. Okay. So my father would allow me to pick which one. Now, if I had any sense, I would go for the shilling.
Yes.
But I didn't have sense now. And he was trying to teach me. So I would go and pick the penny.
Yeah.
Until my siblings were able finally to convince me that, look, that's the wrong choice, my friend. Pick the shilling so we could have a lot of money to spend here. So I began picking the shilling and the whole game changed. But then God said to me, this was just a few days ago, he said, what he was actually teaching you was that, like me, the God Almighty, I always have my palm open with choices. I went, oh my God. Oh my, it is only now that I am learning that lesson, that like my earthly father would always present me with these choices, God always has his palms out, full of choices for you, and trying to show you to choose the best, to choose the one that is worthy, to choose the one that has the most value. They may not look as big as the ones that you are attracted to. But if you pay attention, you would realize that there is always a shilling. There's always the shilling option in the choices I have presented before you. I said, thank you. It's not too late at almost 70 to learn that and to appreciate God for always presenting me with those choices.
I feel like that's a good way to end the interview, but because I'm greedy, just 2 more questions.
Oh my God.
Because we have to talk about this on a smaller level. Not a smaller level, because this is what people know you for. Your movies.
Yes.
I think the first movie I watched of yours, I forget, that was the one you did with, I think it was Chains.
Yes.
There was Chains before there was Chain, before there was Chain Reaction. Yes. And, so, I take it for granted that, of course you would act. But then I look at it, no, you didn't, it wasn't even, you always knew you were going to sing.
Yes, but it wasn't in my agenda. No way, I didn't want to.
Yes. One of
the first movie was Nightmare.
Yes, that was with Peter Bono or...
No.
Justice.
No, the producer,
Zulu.
Zig Zulu was the producer. Yes. And he literally blackmailed me into it.
You wrote about it. Nightmare was a fantastic film.
Yes.
But people know you for a number of movies. People know you for Conspiracy.
Yes.
Conspiracy was a...
Still is. People still are talking about that.
And then it was like a representation of the You and I song to people. People know you for Chain Reactions, which soundtrack is one of the more, in this life, you reap what is one of the most, powerful movie. And there was Not Your Wealth.
Yes.
I remember one scene, I told him, but he wouldn't listen. So there was, you have all this string of movies, and then there are the ones that everybody knows. God Calling just came out on Netflix.
Yes.
All the millennials and Gen Zs are talking about it. There was Half of a Yellow Sun, which was brilliant.
And Lionheart.
Then Lionheart.
Yes.
Me and my mother watched Lionheart together. It was delicious. You were having a blast.
I was. There was a synergy between you and Genevieve. There really was. And I looked at it and said, yeah.
So, which is your favorite of your roles?
That's difficult.
I know my favorite. I'll tell you, but which is yours?
It's difficult. It's difficult. I can name some that. Don't forget Women's Court.
I didn't want to, that's my favorite.
I was bad.
That was.
It's just sometimes it's good to play.
Yes. It's like, oh yes, these young ones are the most delicious. You were having
But
fun.
there was a saving grace always. Even when there's a bad character, there's a saving grace. There's things to be learned. So
Yeah, of course.
it wasn't just having fun that I was allowed to be bad. Because I haven't got to be playing all this. You know, I'm such a nice person. No. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. It's
see, all of
difficult.
them.
All of them.
And it's not
It is. It's you know that there was in God Calling.
Yes.
There was a scene where Richard Mofe-Damijo came to say, Ogama Abebe,
Yes,
Ogama Abebe."
yes.
That came out of the blues. That was not in the. Oh, that was not in the script. It's things like that when you can improvise.
Yeah.
The same thing with Half of a Yellow Sun. Half of a Yellow Sun was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you said
I had that signage again with Newton.
Tandy Newton.
Tandy
yes.
Newton.
Yes.
We worked well together. And I wrote about it
In the book, yes,
in the
which-
book
yeah.
where I had to apologize and say, I'm so sorry that I have to be so. He said, yeah, but you're enjoying it. And we both fell out laughing because she was right. Man, I was brutal.
Yeah.
Mama was
That
brutal.
was brutal.
But in the end, it was Mama that brought her
everybody
back
together.
in.
Yeah.
So when there is always that redeeming factor, yes, I like that a lot. So all of them,
Okay,
them,
I'll
of
take it.
conspiracy.
Yes.
Conspiracy is a tearjerker.
Yes. Oh.
If you think you're strong,
Oh my
you know
God.
strong reach.
There was a scene between you when Lamiko Sweat's character
Yes.
walked into the room
Yes.
with love.
Yes.
And then you entered into one of your character entered into one of the spells where,
Yeah.
you know, and you tore at him, hit him,
Yeah.
pushed him. I was frightened like it was real.
Yeah.
And it was, I never ceased to cry.
Yeah.
I never ceased to cry in that scene because when your realization hits you,
Yeah. That's the thing that for me, that was natural for me in acting, was the ability to leave myself
yes,
behind, put Onyeka Onwenu away, and really get into the character. Whether that character is a mad woman who's picking food in the dustbin, be that mad woman at that moment. That's what's required of you. Don't say, oh, how can I be Onyeka Onwenu and I'm picking? Then you shouldn't be there.
yeah.
So it's that ability to leave myself behind and throw everything into the character that makes me relate to the character very well and do what I know that character naturally would feel. Yeah.
Okay, you know, so this is my last question, but we're going to have a part 2 sometime in the future because there's so many things I want to talk about. You know, your political career.
Yes.
Tina Onwenu. You know, that famous hunger strike.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I would have liked to ask about
Poor Ben Bruce.
Problem, Bruce.
He's somewhere.
He's somewhere. You know, I would have
We're
liked
still friends, so.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What are you talking about?
I love it so much.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, listen, we have to do the part 2. Then, you know, your epic battles beside and against Tony Okoroji and Charlie Boy.
Yep.
I do want to, you know, I can't talk about this. I'm letting you know
No
what the part
problem.
2 is going to be
No
about.
problem.
You know, and all of that, the Nigerian Women's Center,
Yes.
the P-Man battles, including
Yes.
with Tony Ade, some of them are in the book.
Yes.
You know, even in the Diator local, in you know, your local government,
local government.
all of that. So we are going to talk about those at some future time. But I want to end with this. You know, many people became fans of yours from beginning of your career. You know, I thought one of the beautiful stories was how you selected One Love as the you know, but you know, people love One Love, Dancing in the Sun, Ekwe, or then you know,
You and I. Greatest Love.
Greatest Love. But the one I became your fan when I was in secondary school with Greatest Love. I knew Onyeka Onwenu, just like you know the greats, you know, but it's like she's not connected to me in any way. But then I saw the video, you on the pulpit, I think it was Fountain of Life, old auditorium, you know that now, with the Bible in your hand.
Yes.
And I knew that this was personal.
Yeah.
I was less than 14, but I watched that video and I knew it's my favorite song in the world.
I know. And you made me even love it more.
Right. I knew that this was
It was a
possible.
personal testimonial.
That's when I read the book.
Yeah.
So after that fateful meeting, and I need to read that again so people understand how important, this. Oh, I just saw To All the Men I've Loved. Woo. He said, I was introduced to Bimbo Odukoya, and she asked one question only. Onyeka, how is your Christian life? I fell apart. All the fear, anxiety, depression, insecurities came tumbling out. I no longer could contain the heartache. I was broken and could not hide it any longer. I needed to join a fellowship for corporate worship, but one of the things that kept me away was the loss of privacy at worship. I wanted a place where I could sit in a corner and not be recognized, noticed, or distracted. Pastor Bimbo asked me to pray and ask God to guide me to a place of worship. And as that continued, that is when, you were meditating, in every twist and turn, I see God's grace. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. Whose life is it anyway? And then from this, the song comes, I woke up one morning, feeling
Life had passed me by. I knew I was hungry for a love I could not find. All you lonely people, all you sinners lost out there, let me tell you about the greatest love of all. Oh, yes, it's the greatest. Where would we be without this God?
Yeah.
He is so wonderful.
Yeah.
So personal,
Yeah.
so great, so awesome to me. So awesome to me. Where would I be? Where would I be? And you see, from moment to moment, day by day by day by day, he is faithful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Onyeka, I'm a nobody. I'm a nothing person.
Yeah.
But this God puts his hand on me and he raises me up. And even when the world thinks that it's all over, he says, they ain't seen nothing yet. Then he shocks them. May he keep shocking them in our lives.
Amen.
Those who believe and trust in him.
Amen.
May God keep shocking the world with what he uses, with the little that we have, what he makes out of it.
Amen.
That's the God that I worship. That's my joy. That's my happiness. That's my fulfillment. And there is nothing anybody can do to me to take it away. Because it doesn't depend on them, you see. It's grace.
It's grace.
It doesn't even depend on me.
Yes. Yes. It's grace.
It's grace.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
The first time I ever met you was on a TV show, New Dawn, with my former boss, Fumi, and it was a personal, I invited you for myself. And you came down from this was in 2002 or 2003. And I said, what do I call you, ma? I always tell them, I tell my assistant all the time, so just call me Onyeka Onwenu. And I say, hey, say it again, ma. And so to you as my auntie, thank you for this. And I became an auntie with you, so people think I'm my auntie. It's not as if I'm related to you by blood, but by spirit. Thank you for this interview. And as Onyeka Onwenu, an icon, a legend, a teacher. Recently we're involved in a negotiation and you taught me how to value myself, And I was talking to my producer when you said to me in the text message, I should have insisted on Tuesday, And I learned it. I said, actually, I understand what you mean because you did it for me, but now you were having to...
Something else or somebody else that I also needed to honor.
Yes.
But I'm so happy that we could do the two. And I want to thank you, not just for having me, because I don't take things for granted. You didn't have to bring me here and talk about my book and all that. But for being yourself, for being a success. Has it been easy? No. Oh boy, no. But this is how you've been going. And as a young person, with other young people looking at you and learning, you are a role model.
Thank you.
You are a walking testimony You're a teacher as well. And when I see young people who are focused, who know where they're going, and who are not going to be distracted by anything, I thank God for them, because Nigeria will be nothing without you stepping into your own. And you've stepped into your own, and as you've done so, you're taking along with you so many people who are seeing your hard work and seeing your dedication. So, thank you.
Thank you.
May God give you speed.
Amen. Amen. It's finally a wrap.